Lock her up now before anyone else has the body count that keeps accumulating around. Hillary Clinton has reached epic proportion. Anyone who knows her or something about her is not safe as her time of unfortunate fate could strike at any time and disease. Fatality cannot be ignored. It's another day and yet another dead body has been found. Under extreme circumstances, the cause of death seems to be from knowing and exposing who Hillary Clinton's cash man was. It was probably her most tightly kept secret and one she didn't want out, no matter who she had to kill to keep it silent. Last week, we reported about a prominent surgeon who exposed what seemed to be Clinton corruption in Haiti with the funds that went there for relief but ended up being used for other things unrelated to the devastation in that third world country. Dr. Dean Lorich was found dead in his pricey New York City apartment by his 11-year-old daughter. In what mainstream news said was suicide, however, he had been stabbed in the chest as a mode of death, suggesting that perhaps it was actually homicide instead of a self-inflicted death. The way they would have been particularly difficult to do to himself. Furthermore, when his daughter found him and called for help, she reported it an assault, a fact that Democrats are desperate to hide. Lorich wasn't the last sudden death. We're now getting word of another more brutal murder with a very specific tie to Hillary, under the most alarming circumstances. An inquisitive alternative media journalist has just been found dead. The timing was perhaps not ironic given that he had just exposed corruption within billionaire liberal financier to all things wrong in America. George Soros and his organization, Beshir Rabbani had investigated and exposed the well-known far-left group that operates and runs completely on Soros funds, who also happens to be a friend and confidant of Hillary's. She had benefited a great deal of his corruption and now the man who worked to reveal their secrets is dead off Friday night. Free at Tidr.se report, a translated from Swedish to English. The cause of death is still unknown, but several theories about it have spread on the internet. The death occurred within hours after Beshir Rabbani had released a movie in which visited the home of multimillionaire Robert Ashberg. Just before Rabbani's mysterious death, he announced that he would release more information about evidence he had uncovered during his investigation. Beshir Rabbani became famous when he went home to expresses Thomas Matson and Diamond Sally earlier this year to ask questions about their journalism. Rabbani filmed the visit, but neither of the two people he visited dared open the door. He then uploaded the clip online, which became a viral success. Beshir Rabbani then continued his journalism through the Megaphone Project. Recently, he released the documentary series In the Shadow of the Shadow, which deals with rap that affects Swedish women. He also infiltrated an extremist connected to the Nordic resistance movement's demonstration in Gothenburg on September 30. Thermostat. Swedish alternative media journalist Beshir Rabbani found dead tonight under strange circumstances. This comes just as investigating and exposing well-known communist Robert Ashberg, which is funded by Soros. Retweet https://t.co/y099gpq426pic.twitter.com/rvqta6163 Peter Sveden @Peter Sveden 7 décembre 15, 2017. Yesterday, wrote a post on his VK account, but now the Megaphone confirms that he suddenly died. We can be very sad to announce that Beshir Rabbani is dead. Beshir was a fierce fighter who fought for justice and who without hesitation stood up for all those who themselves could not or dared. We will remember Beshir for his energy, his driving force and not least all his work. We currently do not know the cause of death and the spread of rumors is great so long as information is available. We can only donate our thoughts and condolences to Béchir's family and relative in this difficult time. I write on Facebook. Béchir Rabbani's last project was a review by Robert Ashberg, director of Left Extreme Expo, a left-wing extremist organization dedicated to registering people. On the right-hand side, Rabbani had, among other things, made a home visit to Ashberg, which, however, would not be interviewed. After my visit to Ashberg, my Facebook account were permanently closed. This has never happened before. And the text below the report was deleted everywhere on Facebook. Our website has also been under attack. The report will be coming soon and probably the first ever to review Ashberg. Look out for the days and spread as much as you can, wrote Béchir Rabbani in a blog post on December 7. Thermostat. Rabbani promised yesterday new information about Robert Ashberg. Coming an update on Ashberg. EHAS watched the video and mailed me QL a we say on SFI it. Coming up later today. Spread the word on Facebook, says Béchir Rabbani last post in social media, which was published on Thursday. However, the information should not have been published. Béchir Rabbani became 33 years old. He came from a Palestinian family who fled from Palestine to Syria in 1948. The exact cause of death is not yet known, but on the net the theory is that both Robert Ashberg himself and the Israeli intelligence service Mossad could be behind the death. National journalists at Review Sweden have released a film on Friday night to report a robbery to Robert Ashberg for murder, because it is strange that Béchir Rabbani suddenly when he reviews Ashberg. However, some concrete evidence is not presented. GS writes that you will request the autopsy report. The megaphone itself point out that there is a big rumor spread on the net right now. Béchir Rabbani should have died during the night to Friday. 3 times have sought relative of Béchir Rabbani, who do not currently want to pronounce on the death. According to social news, Rabbani has contacted the newspaper reporter Igor Putilov 2 weeks before his death and decided that he personally received a warning from a self-contact to be careful. However, in a the FB conversation with Putilov, Rabbani's answers are now removed, which is not usually the case even if a profile is removed, says social news, according to the online newspaper. Rabbani will also have worked with a review of Facebook and its employees. Why is it that everyone around the Clinton clan always seems to commit suicide, disappear or else? Under mysterious circumstances, there are 2 answers to this dilemma: either the Clinton themselves are responsible, or they are the luckiest people in the history of the universe, and I don't know about you, but for myself, I don't believe in luck. We have no tolerance for comment containing violence, racism, vulgarity, profanity, all cap, or discourteous behavior. Thank you for partnering with us to maintain a courteous and useful public environment where we can engage in reasonable discourse. Ever since Trump defeated satanic Democrat Hillary Clinton in the election, the left has been doing all they can to bring him down. Democrats want the government to control us, and they want to take our hard-earned money and give it to their constituents in return for their loyalty at the ballot box. This is how they stay in power year after year. So when Trump came along and wanted less government control and for us to keep more of what we earned, the Dems were having none of it. Trump is systematically destroying a corrupted system that Democrats love, so it's no surprise they are fighting back tooth. Concocting stories about collusion with Russia to undermine President Trump by casting doubt on his Legitimacy. It has been almost a year since the investigation into collusion began, and to that there is absolutely zero evidence that any took place. Like Jeff on Facebook at the head of the investigation is Special Counsel Robert Mueller. When Mueller was appointed to look into possible collusion on the part of the Trump campaign, he immediately hired a team of investigators who had close ties to the Clinton crime family. One top FBI agent who at Trump had to be fired after it became known that they conspired against him with others, and tainted the investigation. Rumors are now swirling that President Trump will fire Mueller. It's become obvious this is just a Democrat witch hunt to take him down. Anti-head of the snake, top Democrat socialist, George Soros. Soros is well known for funding anti-American organizations that send to such group is MoveOn.org. This group is now threatening nationwide unrest of the type we see with Antifa. Via your newswire, George Soros has boasted about a plan to roll out nationwide riots across the US if Mueller drops this Trump Russia probe. The Soros-funded radical left group MoveOn.org has warned it will begin hours after news break of a Mueller firing. According to a post on its website, Donald Trump is publicly considering firing Special Counsel Robert Mueller, the person leading the Department of Justice investigation of possible illegal action by Donald Trump and members of his presidential campaign, and the effort to conceal those activities. This would be a constitutional crisis for our country. It would demand an immediate and unequivocal response to show that we will not tolerate abuse of power from Donald Trump. Our response in the minute and hours following a power grab will dictate what happens next, and whether Congress, the only body with the constitutional power and obligation to run Trump in from this rampage, will do anything to stand up to him. That's why we're preparing to hold emergency. Nobody is above the law rally around the country in the events they are needed. Intellihub.com report. Now the snowflakes at MoveOn.org are saying that it would be a constitutional crisis if Trump were to fire Mueller and VOW to hold emergency. Nobody is above the law rally in all 50 states. The alt-left group's plan is as follows. If Mueller is fired before 2h local time, plus grand que event will begin @5 p.m. local time. If Mueller is fired after 2h local time, plus grand que event will begin @noon local time the following day. President Trump is fully within his constitutional right to fire Mueller. Many Republican lawmakers believe he should do just that. It's obvious this isn't about justice, it's about taking out Trump because butthurt lips just can't get over the fact that they won. Indeed, just today it is being reported that FBI agent Newsweek top officials at the FBI and the US Justice Department might be subpoenaed as part of a House investigation into alleged agency bias against President Donald Trump. A Republican on the House Judiciary Committee said Saturday that the panel's chairman, Representative Bob Goodlatte, has vowed to subpoena several leading officials at Trump and some GOP Congress members. Stock speculations that intelligence and law enforcement agencies are perpetuating partisan opposition against the Trump administration. Republicans are apparently focused on Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, FBI lawyer Lisa Page, FBI Counterintelligence Agent Peter Strzok, who once worked on Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team investigating the Trump campaign, and former Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Washer and his wife Nellie, who were both tied to the infamous dossier alleging collusion between Trump and the Russian government. Speaking about the probe on Fox News, Representative Jim Jordan, Ohio, said he believes there has been a full-blown campaign within Washington to the right Trump's presidency, which supposedly including federal agencies. President Trump won in spite of the Republican establishment being against him, the Democrat being against him, the elite media being against him, and the FBI and Justice Department being against him. Jordan said, Jordan did not say when the subpoenas might come, and Goodlatte office has not confirmed the plan. Jordan has been an outspoken critic of Mueller's investigation into the Trump campaign's suspected Kremlin ties, and has even called for a second special counsel to look into Mueller's team for supposed bias. Trump has long claimed that Mueller's probe and the congressional investigation into Russian election interference are a partisan witch hunt aimed at toppling his presidency, but the attacks have escalated in recent weeks as several developments have invited new scrutiny of the people probing Trump. Media report revealed that Strzok was taken off Mueller's team over the summer after Mueller learned of extortion to page during the 2016 campaign criticizing Trump and his campaign. Meanwhile, Fox News revealed Bruce Washer was demoted over meeting held last year with Christopher Steele, the British spy who compiled the Trump dossier, and Glenn Simpson, founder of the company that produced it, Fusion GPS. Nellie Washer reportedly worked for Fusion GPS during the campaign, report ANTITRUMP. FBI agent led Clinton email probe. Now it all starts to make sense. Donald J. Trump, @real Donald Trump, December 3, 2017 Florida Republican House member, Matt Gaetz represents the Houston District when Mueller fired immediately. Rep Matt Gaetz, he thinks the president should fire Mr. Mueller. If he doesn't, he thinks the attorney general should. And if he doesn't, he thinks Rod Rosenstein should, because we've got time and again the examples of the referee in this game wearing the jersey of the other team. pic.twitter.com/rs4digeno1dn Fox Business @Fox Business December 17, 2017 If Soros attempt to take down President Trump will be out there making sure it doesn't happen. Share this if you think Soros should be locked up for treason. Your newswire by Jeff Reinforce. Like Jeff on Facebook. This Christmas season is far different than the last two since we have a president in charge who brought back the reason for the season. Is not afraid to say Merry Christmas instead of the politically correct salutation of Happy Holidays, and it's driving liberals to new levels of insanity. Now, in an effort to regain control and infiltrate into a joyeux time of year, a Muslim mayor has just announced that Christmas is cancelled this year for everyone in his city. Just 1 week before Jolly Old Saint Nick is expected to come down Eager Children's chimney. For 8 years, Islam has reigned supreme as the former commander-in-chief catered to this religion over all others. That all changed when new leadership took office and made America and Christmas great again. The days of tiptoeing around terrorists is over, but that isn't stopping them from trying to reclaim the control that former President Barack Obama gave them when he put the priority on their beliefs and sensitivities over Christianity. In an unexpected recent move, President Donald Trump gave a Jewish ally in Israel and early Christmas present by recognizing Jerusalem as their capital, rather than Tel Aviv. This brought about a terroristic promise of a day of rage, but now the mayor or Nazareth, where Christmas began, has just doubled down on the recourse after Trump's decision. Breitbart report, the Muslim mayor of Nazareth has cancelled traditional outdoor songs and plays celebrating Christmas in the city where Jesus spent his childhood. Mayor Ali Salam, who once made the curious boast that US President Donald Trump learned everything from me about how to win election, indicated that he was punishing local and visiting Christians a revenge for the president's decision to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Our message is we love Jerusalem, we'll never abandon you. Under any circumstances, Salam declared. Whose identity and faith on top for debate. The decision by Donald Trump about Jerusalem has taken away the joy of the holiday, and we will thus cancel the festivities this year, while Nazareth is located within Israel proper, rather than Palestinian Authority territory in Gaza and the West Bank. A majority of its inhabitants are Arabs with Israeli citizenship, at a little over 30% of the population. Christians are a significant minority, but are dominated by the Muslim majority which voted Salam into power. Nevertheless, the local administration has already walked back its aggressive position somewhat, conceding there are commercial interests of the city and we are used to hundreds of thousands of Christians coming for this season. Some elements of the traditional celebration will, therefore, go ahead, such as a Christmas market and a parade on December 23 rd, but the singing performance and outdoor plays which usually mark the season will be prohibited. According to the Bible, the city of Nazareth is where the Archangel Gabriel told the Virgin Mary she would bear the Savior, making it one Christianity's holiest seat. After giving birth to Jesus in Bethlehem, now located in the Palestinian-controlled West Bank, Mary and the rest of the Holy Family are said to have fled to Egypt to escape from Herod the Great, who ordered all of the infant boys in Bethlehem killed after learning a new king had been born. Mary returned to Nazareth following Herod's death, where the Bible says her child grew, and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him. There should have never been a Muslim mayor of this biblical city to begin with. They don't recognize or respect the important history of this place and not only want to protect and preserve it but will destroy it. We're seeing now, this is truly sad that it's gotten this far and it will only get worse if people don't stand up and revolt against this egregious abuse of power. Express HAS more, protest in other parts of the Palestinian territories, well across the Arab world, have broken out since Trump's announcement. The Palestinian chief representative to Britain, Manuel Assassian, blasted the American leader's decision to move the US embassy. He told the BBC, as declaring war in the Middle East, as declaring war against 5 billion Muslims and hundreds of millions of Christians that are not going to accept the holy shrines to be totally under the hegemony of Israel. This issue doesn't just exist overseas and in historical part of the world, it's a major problem here. Thomas we've seen with the Muslim mayor in Minnesota. Muslim-controlled cities are like Democrat-controlled cities, urban wasteland, plagued by out-of-control crime, murder, fear, and poverty. Minnesota stands out in this equation of supposed diversity. I'm sure there are a lot more cities in there quest to destroy your sovereignty. How that working out? Sanctuary cities? First Lady Melania Trump has been exceptionally busy during her first Christmas season in the White House. Despite all the festivities and responsibilities she has in her new role, she kept herself even busier with spreading compassion to the hundreds of victims of this year's natural disasters. Now that she's back in Washington, D.C., she's settling back into her festive routine for the rest of December when a photo was snapped of her and President Trump. While the shot looks stunning however, there's something unexpected that the camera caught. Now the secret is out and the First Lady is bracing herself for the inevitable attacks. There is absolutely nothing this incredible presidential pair can do without coming under an onslaught of scrutiny from their detractors. The couple's first White House Christmas picture was no exception. Everyone immediately noticed something wrong with it as soon as the official portrait was revealed. Now there's no more hiding it and there's nothing wrong with that either. However, leave it to hateful, anti-Christmas liberals to turn the image issue into major allegation against the Trumps. Opposing views report. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have revealed their official Christmas cards for 2017. The First Lady debuted the card on Twitter on Décembre 14, report Empty World. In the caption accompanying the Trump's Christmas card photo, the First Lady tweeted, "Merry Christmas from President Donald J. Trump and First Lady Melania, email protected." 5. In their official 2017 Christmas portrait, in the cross-hall of the White House in Washington, D.C., seems like an elegant and perfect Christmas card, right? Well, liberals took immediate notice and concern of something else. Rather than realizing that this was a shot that was supposed to be just of the President and First Lady, people began to react to the fact that their youngest son Baron wasn't in the photo greeting. This Christmas, Baron Trump is home alone, one commenté SID, cleverly making reference to the popular 1990 movie of the same name. As a remark and question of the boy's absence cam. Pouring in the next plausible step for Internet sleuths was to start a hashtag for it since that's what they do. The hashtag Where's Baron almost immediately made an appearance. For the photo, the First Lady wore a sleeveless, long, black dress with pointed black stiletto, while the President wore a black tuxedo with a matching bow tie. Opposing views pointed out of our stunning first couple. They are seen smiling, hand in hand, standing in front of the White House double doors, with two Christmas trees on either side, each of which is covered in fake snow. The couple is certainly USD too? The criticism at this point since it's been a solid year of such ridiculous attacks that have no sign of slowing in the new year. They probably realized that they are damned if you do and damned if you don't, with including Baron in the picture since the criticism then would have been why they didn't have the rest of Trump's children in the shot. Chances are, they decided to just keep it simple. Opposing views HAS more. Prior to unveiling the photo, the White House debuted a video of Melania Trump getting the property ready for the holidays, decorating the trees, preparing wreaths, and supervising the baking of cookies. Stephanie Grisham, Director of Communication for the First Lady's office, confirmed via tweet that a huge gingerbread house was also prepared, constructed from 300 pounds of dough. Report time. Also on display are former President Ronald Reagan's China and former President Franklin D. Roosevelt's 1866 edition of A Christmas Carol. More details on the decoration are provided by the Daily Beast, which reports that also on display are 71 wreaths, 53 Christmas trees, more than 18,000 light, more than 12,000 ornament, over 3,100 yards of ribbon and more than 1,000 feet of garland. The Daily Beast's Tim Timan thought it was overkill, however, and declared it the creepiest home space in America, comparing it to scenery from a Tim Burton movie and recommending that the First Lady keep the Christmas decoration up for next Halloween. In addition to the card and video, Melania Trump also issued an official Christmas statement. Report time. The President, Baron, and I are very excited for our first Christmas in the White House, she said. With many families across The country holiday tradition are very important to us. I hope when visiting the people's house this year, visitors will get a sense of being home for the holidays. The root of the issue is probably jealousy that the Trumps are in the White House. And Hillary Clinton is not on this Christmas card as she and all of her supporters expected to see before her major loss in the presidential election. We have a lot of reasons to celebrate this season and the two people in this picture have a lot to do with that.